Hey, welcome into the chat. Feel free to ask me any questions while I cook a little bit over here. Feel free to ask me anything. Uh-oh. Yeah, feel free to ask me anything. I'm just gonna kind of get a little something going over here. When those get going. And we've got those over there ready to go. Okie dokie. Feel free to ask me anything in the chat. Feel free. I'm just gonna cook a little bit and I'm gonna go do some calisthenics and I'll eat this when I'm done. So any of you guys that have any questions for me, feel free in the chat, put them in. Go. Get them bad boys going. Get them bad boys going. All right. Throw in a wee bit of butter. This is going to be the post-workout meal, in case you guys are curious. This is going to be the post meal. We're not going to eat this before we train. I wouldn't eat something this heavy before I train, but once I get done doing my pull-ups and my push-ups, the shoulder's feeling better. I can't wait to train my chest and stuff again. I just been doing a bunch of hundreds and hundreds of pull-ups every week. Hell, I might be close to doing 1,000 pull-ups in the week, to tell you the truth. Anyways, what you guys got? Would you eat a hamster if you had to? Would I eat a hamster? I mean, I don't know, man. I guess if it was life or death and I was really hungry, I might eat a hamster. What about you? Would you eat a hamster? I mean, I'm not saying I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't. If I was starving and I didn't have nothing to eat and there was a hamster, maybe. But more than likely, if I was starving and the hamster was with me, I would try to take the hamster and be friends with it and keep it as a companion and find other alternatives. I really wouldn't want to eat the hamster unless I had to. But I think like, as long as I can find a worm, I can catch a fish. And I know how to find worms, and I can make a homemade fishing pole. So I don't think I'd have to come down to that. Great question. Now, if you were in the chat, how about yourself? Would you, if that was you? Hey, what's up, man? How are you? I'm going to do a little bit of cooking, and I'm going to get my meal ready. So when I'm done, I don't like to eat a heavy meal before I train. So I'm roughing me up some Angus beef and some seasoning and some butter, and I'm going to eat this after I train. Shout out in the chat. Do you guys like to, how do you guys like to eat? Do you guys go to the gym, or do you do what I do? I'm doing more calisthenics these days. I'm just trying to look like I'm trying to look like Tarzan. I'm just doing a bunch of bodyweight exercises and trying to look like Tarzan, personally. I just want to look like Tarzan, man. Have I ever thought of becoming a mockler miser? Not much, man. I don't even know what a mockler miser is, to tell you the truth, man. I don't even know what that is. Should I be a mockler miser? Here's your chance to pitch me. What is a mockler miser, and why should I want to become one? What benefit would that provide me with? Because I'm always open to learn, but I don't know what that is. And if I don't know what something is, then I just tell people I don't know. I know how to research. I could go look at ChatGPT or Grok, but I don't really know what it is. And, you know, it is what it is. Not everybody knows everything, you know. Nice little snack. Fierce Fat, you hit 155 a day. Oh yeah, you're trying to, Fierce Fat, you're trying to making burgers. Oh yeah. Tom Moon. Oh, actually, Momore. First off, Fierce, congratulations. I know you're trying to hit a PR. Remember, when you're trying to build strength, every time you do the exercise, beat your last workout. I have found that whenever I want to progress, like in weighted pull-ups is my favorite exercise. You guys know I'm all back. You know, I'm not saying I have a great physique, but I have been told that my back looks pretty good. Now, I don't really do a lot of traditional weightlifting anymore. I do kind of more push-ups and pull-ups. But here lately, all I've been doing is pull-ups. And I'm pretty happy with my back development. Like, I do a lot of back, so I'm trying to have that V taper, you know what I mean? Nice pulled in waist, wide shoulders. But I can't really train my chest for growth right now because I tore my labrum. So in case you guys don't know, so I'm going to be growing my chest again soon, but until that gets settled, I'm basically only able to train legs and back, which has been a shit ton of pull-ups like every day. I like the buff and tattoos. Have you tried adding beats? Yes. Actually, for you guys who don't know, who is this guy in the chat? Momore. I love beats for my pre-workout. Check it out. Believe it or not, I have this organic powdered beetroot, and I'll take this before I train. Beetroot powder is a vasodilator, and it is hella good for a pump. Dude, I started taking this, and I start, doing my repetitions, and the pump is bodacious. And I'll mix it with a little bit of honey or anything. I also find nuts and seeds. If you eat more nuts and seeds, the nuts and seeds have phytonutrients and resveratrol, and I think that it really does help personally with getting a pump. Because I'm all about getting a good pump in the gym. I don't know what you guys, but life can be really hard sometimes, and sometimes the best thing in the world is going and doing some push-ups and some pull-ups and getting a nice pump. I don't really train too heavy these days because I'm about 40 years old. I'm getting old. So for me, it's kind of more about training for the pump and controlling my body weight. That's me personally, in case anybody cares. Anyways, what we got? My last workout PR was 135. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, if you do the same movement every day and you train like an athlete, okay, don't just go in there and do a bunch of junk volume. What you do is you warm up, and every time you do an activity, you treat it like a sport. So if you want to get a better bench press, start bench pressing every day and just work on your bench press. Now, you can still do other things like mobility and stuff, but when it comes to your main effort, all you want to do is just get better at that activity. Do that for about 30 days until you max it out and then pick another exercise. I'm telling you, it works really good. I think it's the best program to become athletic. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do other stuff, but, you know, all the pumping and all that stuff, that's just fun. But pick a movement that you want to get better at. For me, it was pull-ups, weighted pull-ups. And I got to where I could do a lot more weighted pull-ups, and my body started looking different. So you start to perform better and then focus on your diet. Most people look better when they narrow their focus. Hello from Croatia. Hey, Croatia, what's up, man? How are you, man? Hi, Charlie Shaw. Hello. You're advice for a 17-year-old? Well, it depends, man. What type of advice are you looking for? You know, when I was 7, what type of advice you looking for? Are you looking for like work life advice, business advice? What kind of advice you looking for? Self-discipline? I'll tell you one thing, if you're 17 years old, the best thing you can do is not chase men and not chase women. If you're 17 and you're a guy, don't chase girls. Focus on yourself. Don't chase women. Focus on yourself. When you're that age, it's really hard, but if you focus on yourself, it's probably the best piece of advice I can give you. Every day, try to get a little bit smarter and try to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. That's the best advice I can give you. Say, Mailer Hayok, hello from Croatia. Hello, hey. Malakor Hayok. Oh, man, dude, This said, this dude is dumb. Oh, man, that's not a good name. I'm a girl, but yeah. Stay away from drugs and alcohol. Absolutely. Okay, so if you're a female and you're 17, I'm going to tell you one thing. You need to understand as a female that most men only want to be with you because of sex. It is what it is. So do not waste your time giving yourself up. Keep yourself pure and keep yourself feminine. Work on yourself and you will find the right man. And they will probably pursue you. But the best thing I can tell you is don't fall. Remember, there's 3 types of love: agape, phileo, and eros. Most boys your age are only going to look for one thing. Understand that. Be strong. Figure out a self-discipline. The guy in here that's Muslim, I don't care if you're Muslim or not. I could give 2 shits about that. But what I can say is I agree with him. Don't drink, don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't look at pornography. When I was younger, I did a lot of that stuff. All it did was destroy me. Treat your body like a temple. I'm not religious. I don't do any religion for anybody in the chat. I'm very spiritual. I have a relationship with God. That's it. I don't conform to any religion. But I can tell you, I became stronger when I stopped smoking, stopped drinking, stopped eating processed sugar, have time to meditate. And that's really like what it's all about. And find some form of self-discipline. Some form of self-discipline, okay? That's a sad life you have? Absolutely not. I think what's sad is people that have to drink and have to smoke and have to get a high. I have a natural amount of energy because instead of doing all this recreational stuff that's destroying my body at nearly 40 years old, I'm strong, I'm fast, I work out, I go do sprints. I work out in a little shack out here half the time doing push-ups and pull-ups. I create music, I read. The difference is people that have to do drugs to get off, what they don't realize is they have to destroy themselves. That's a form of addiction. Here's the coolest thing. You know what the hardest drug to actually do in life is? You want to be a badass like everybody says? Why don't you try facing the world sober?
Imagine you can be so strong that you don't need to rely on recreational drugs to get you high. You can just be naturally happy. Go create music. Right, I know a lot of those things are banned in Islam, which is, a good thing. No matter which way you slice it, even though me and Mara probably don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, I can tell you we probably both agree that you shouldn't drink, you shouldn't smoke, you shouldn't chase women. That's just not what's going to make you happy in life. What's going to make you happy in life is finding peace from within and, focusing on yourself. And also, I would say creating music. You need to have some type of artistic endeavor that you focus on. It doesn't have to be working out. Creating music, working with your hands, all these are great things to do. And by doing that, you'll probably realize like, whoa, there's a lot of cool things I could be doing in my life, but instead I'm spending all my energy doing all this other stuff. You want to get smarter, you want to get stronger, raise your vibration, raise your frequency. Stop participating in these things that are lowering your vibration. That's the key, guys. Anyways, next question. Next question. Next question in the chat. There we go. Get some of this nasty old stuff off of these. What you guys got in the chat for me? Yeah, I mean, Islam, I'm not really too familiar because I'm not Muslim or Islamic or whatever you say, but I will say this. Anything that teaches you to practice self-discipline is a good thing. Self-discipline is important. Self-discipline is where it's at, man. You want to find God? You want to find something bigger than yourself? Start working on yourself from the inside. And then start working on some form of self-discipline. It could be stop drinking. It could be stop smoking. It could be stop chasing women, stop chasing men. It could be cutting out processed sugar. It could be creating music. It could be reading. Some form of self-discipline, in my opinion, is absolutely necessary in order to reach the highest version of yourself. I've never met someone who was very successful that didn't have a lot of self-discipline. Never have. Not to say people don't fail, because we all fail, we all fall short. But the biggest thing too is I think celibacy. I always talk about this all the time. If you're a young man and you're not where you want to be in life, start semen retention. That's one thing I tell all the young men. That's something that'll change your life. At least for me. I never felt stronger until I started doing like no fat for like 30, 60, 90 days. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of power in that. Anyways, eat good food, Doesn't really matter what you're eating. It's, get some good protein, get some good fats, but eliminate processed sugar. If you're going to eat sugar, eat it before and after you train. Those are good things. So that is good. All right. Put those there. I'll do a little flippy. Very good. Kind of feel it. Oh man. It's going to be so good after I train to eat those. Oh my gosh, they taste so good. Now put a little bit of onion. I take minced onion and put it on mine. One of my favorite things to do is take minced onion and season my burgers with it. Oh boy, minced onion is amazing. Minced onion, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Oh, you can smell the aroma. Oh man. Pop that there. Bam, bam. Extra seasoning, onion. Very simple. Salt, pepper, paprika, garlic salt. Basics, man. Very basic. Diced minced onion mixed in. Good. These are going to be so yummy later. Ooh, these are going to be good. I cannot wait. Ooh,
Ooh, that's good.
How big is the top of your head? It's huge. Sorry, I didn't mean to read that out loud. Yeah, for me, a lot of people don't. I mean, look, I'm not that large, guys. The difference is I diet. I understand nutrition. So, what you see me looking like this, I'm not a huge guy. I'm 220 pounds at 6'4". I'm not huge, but you see how I got like some definition and stuff? It's all about lighting. But getting leaner is just about understanding nutrition, eating whole foods, and being in shape. Most of my workouts are a lot of push-ups and a lot of pull-ups, and I do a lot of cardio. So if you want to look more vascular and look better, you have to be in shape. In order to be in shape, you have to do some type of cardio. Now, I'm all for some strength training here and there too, but I'm telling you, man, push-ups and pull-ups will get your physique so much better looking than weights, in my opinion. But it's not just doing push-ups and pull-ups, it's understanding how to do it. Now remember, I'm 6'4", and I have super long arms. So when I do push-ups and pull-ups, I do push-ups, I don't just like most people. Like for example, when I do my push-ups, I do push-ups like this. I lock my scapula, I pull them back, I go down into slow positions, and I work on body control. Now, I do have one injury right now, so, my front is not nearly as good as my back. But controlling weight and also going explosive, full range of motion, but also partial ranges of motion, it's about creating tension. Training the body is about creating tension. When you understand how to create tension and get better at activities, your body adjusts. If you can't, I tell them, the people that I train, if you can't do at least 15 or 20 pull-ups, like easily, then you should be working on pull-ups. Because once you can do 15 or 20 pull-ups pretty easily, just like, and you do that 10, 15, 20 times, and you can do like 4 sets of that, your body's gonna look good. That should be your foundation before you move on weights. Anybody that I've ever met that has a foundation of calisthenics before they get into weight training always has a superior physique. You just want to be big and thick and just lift some heavy weight and have no control of your body. Some people like that. Me, I don't really like that look. I don't think it looks good. Good afternoon. You're 5'10", the top of your head is 6 inches. Okay. Whatever that means. How do you get that big though? You think I'm a roid head? Why do you think I'm a roid head? Bro, I'm only 220 pounds. The difference is I know how to train and I know how to eat. You think I'm a roid head? Dude, look at my physique. I'm not that large. I'm not that large, guys. The difference is I've been training since I was 17 and I do a lot of calisthenics. The difference is when you get leaner, you look bigger. I've actually lost 14 pounds from a month ago and people think I look bigger because I got leaner. So again, that's all with your diet. Look, if you don't know how to eat, if you don't understand carb manipulation, glycogen restoration, if you don't understand how to not spike your insulin, and if you don't understand how to I do full body workouts every day. Half the time I don't even lift weights. I move my body weight. I do sprints, push-ups, pull-ups, one-legged sprints, and I'm telling you, man, it's all about nutrition. Like, it is very easy to obtain, other than my genetics for having like wide shoulders, it's very easy to obtain my physique if you train and eat. My physique is not that impressive compared to bodybuilding standards because I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm an athlete. I was in the Navy for 10 years. I've been training since I was like 17 years old. And I do a lot of cardio. If you want to look better, start doing cardio. Nothing is going to change the way you look better. Nothing is going to change how you look in the mirror
more than cardio. Absolutely nothing. And I also chop a lot of wood. You see, we're out here on the farm over here. I spend a lot of time outside chopping wood, and I move my body. Most people don't do body. Tanya Key, good afternoon. I appreciate you thinking I look big though. Really not that big. Just the way I've designed my body, I do a lot of pull-ups, I do a lot of sprints, and I train to be an athlete. Train to be an athlete. You want to look like an athlete, train like an athlete. You ever heard that saying? That was from Jeff Cavalier from Athlete X. He has that slogan. You know. Now, what do we got? Oh, somebody's delivering something. Anyways, good afternoon. Who said my mom name? I don't know what you're saying. 5'10", the top of your head is 6 foot inches. Well, I've got a large head. I do have a large skull, a large cranium. I do have a big head. I'd like to think there's a brain in there that I continue to learn every day. So, another thing that'll make you look larger is if you get a little bit of a tan. Again, I'm not that big, but, muscle, your body mass index, putting muscle in the right places instead of just getting big and fat and holding water, man. Anyways, you guys are welcome to ask me any questions in the chat. I am a certified master trainer and a nutritionist by heart, and I sell insurance as well. Long story short, if you're looking for a trainer and you want me to train you, I'll show you. I can show you my program. Just message me Mind, Music, and Muscle on Instagram or Facebook, and message me, I want to train. I'm going to assume anybody watching this knows how to go into Instagram or Facebook and find me. It's Mind, Music, and Muscle. But the main thing is figure out a goal and understand what it takes to get to that goal. If I wanted to train someone to become a power lifter or a bodybuilder, I wouldn't train them the way I train because I'm not a power lifter or a bodybuilder. I'm an athlete. I believe training specifically for your goal. Now, I've trained power lifters, track athletes. I've trained people in the Navy. I've trained so many different types of people that I have a pretty good idea of what works for most people. But the biggest thing that most people get wrong with training, one of the biggest things that people do, and just for whatever reason, I can't figure out why they don't get it, they go to the gym and they sit down and they don't focus. Now, this is if you want to focus on looking better, right? Most people don't do enough kinetic strength exercises. They don't do enough of the right push-ups. They don't do enough of the right pull-ups. They don't do sprints. They don't do one-legged hops. They don't do cardio. Most people just go into the gym, lift heavy for 5 sets or up to 12, then they rest and they just get bigger and bigger and they get out of shape. Don't get out of shape. If you want to look at anything, look at boxers and look at fighters. I train a lot like them. I do a lot of twisting. I do a lot of core, a lot of stuff like that. Training and moving your body like an athlete and then understanding when you eat carbs, when you eat more fats and protein, understanding how to cut weight, understanding how to drain your water out of your system, understanding all of that's pretty important. Not drinking and not smoking is super important, right? I think not drinking, not smoking, and not having a lot of recreational sex with people and stuff like that destroys your energy, guys. Not getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, not being able to do those things. If you can't do those, your body's never going to look as good as it could be. Not staying hydrated, right? All these are things that I wish people, would pay attention to. And if they did, they would be in the best shape of their life. But most people are like, nah, I can't do that. Well, welcome to self-discipline. If you're not willing to put in the work, I'm almost 40 years old, guys. I don't do drugs. I don't do testosterone. I don't do peptides. I don't do SARMs. I don't do any of this bullshit. You know what I do? I focus on my food. I train. And I focus on goals, little bitty goals in the gym. For example, after I had my surgery, you know what I said? I said, hey, I want to get to where I can do upside down pull-ups. Focus on a goal, focus on your nutrition, and you can do it. You know, if anything, I'm training to look like Tarzan. I like that V taper. Now, I was born with wide shoulders, but I was always a little bit thinner growing up because I did a lot of cardio. So the nutrition is the big part. Understanding like snacks, fruits and nuts, good quality proteins, and all that good stuff. What is on your X arm? My X arm? I don't know. Give Chris a sub. Week 3 in the UK gym. That's what's up. Hey, what is this? I'm a big head too in the jeans. Average? I don't know what average says. If you think my physique is average, then I would be as bold as to say I have an above average physique. I go into gyms all the time, and as a natural, I can tell you I have a pretty decent physique as far as an athletic physique. For example, I like physiques like Cristiano Ronaldo. I like soccer players' physiques. I like lean calisthenic gymnastics physiques, which is what I'm trying to rebuild. Next over here, Chris will be, what's on your X arm? Don't know what that means. Is that a stoic on your arm? Yeah, so this is kind of like a symbol for a higher power or God. You can call it a stoic. Sometimes I say it's Odin. At the end of the day, it's just a symbol for like a Godhead. You know, I believe in a superior power. Some call it Odin, some call it Jesus, some call it Wasubi, some call it Shiva, some thinks it's Buddha, whatever. It's all streams leading to the same ocean. All cultures come, to me, all cultures just try to describe something magnificent. It's all the same thing to me. It's all streams leading to the same ocean. All streams leading to the same ocean, in my opinion. Anyways, don't judge me if I tell you I'm being honest online. A lot of people don't like my honesty. They're like, oh, it's got to be this way. Well, look, man, if you think what you believe is so powerful, go on. But, you know, I don't think if God is so powerful, I don't think you can put God into one single religion. I don't think the magnificence could be that. Would I do an Ironman? Well, I have done an Ironman in the past. Run, swim, and bike and do all that. I've done a 200-mile bike ride. I used to do a lot of running. These days, I would need an incentive because instead of doing the Ironmans and doing all that endurance, I'm really getting more into calisthenics. Like I'm trying to get to where I can do handstand push-ups and, you know, do stuff more like that. Because I find full body calisthenics to just, I'm telling you, it has an effect on the body. Using your body as a whole unit and getting better at skills and learning how to eat based on your energy is a new world of training to me. Because for 8 or 9 years, I did powerlifting and heavy lifting, and I kind of wish I just would have stuck on the calisthenics. Because sprints and push-ups and pull-ups and dips, when done correctly, I think are superior to weights. I think if you get stronger at moving your body and you twist, I just think it's better. You said, I bet I'd iron to dude out. Cool. High-key agree with the religious take. Cool. What do you do? That excellent skill sets. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's cool, man. Comparison is the thief of joy. You know, comparison's the thief of joy. So, don't really know what you're trying to prove with that. If you want to come into someone's random stream and said, I could iron this man or something like that, like, what are you doing, dude? Are you trying to compare yourself? You're trying to fight? Like, he's like, that's just such a weird loser mentality to me. I've never gone into someone's stream and been like, oh, I can do this or that. When I go into someone's stream or I look around, I'm going to try to learn something and then better myself. If I agree with it, cool. If I disagree, I leave. So whenever I see someone say stuff like that, it's just like, I automatically know you're a loser in life, dude. Like comparison and going around and trying to compare yourself, like that type of mentality is going to get you nowhere in life. Just as a heads up. Your favorite coach right here, man. People. All right. So we've got that. We've got pickles. We got some eggs. Alrighty.
I also like to use a weighted vest. A weighted vest is a great way to add external load. I think if you start using weighted vests and do push-ups and pull-ups, you'll do great. Said hi, Kawandi, say hi. Do you recommend any particular kind of body work, i.e. Rolling sports massage? Yeah, man. I think sleep is the best way to recover. So if you're doing a lot of training, like let's say you're going to train twice a day, you're going to do like mobility and movement in the morning, and then maybe weights later or skill set training in the afternoon. You can train 2 or 3 times a day, but the more frequently that you train, the less intensity you can train at once. I'm a big believer in creating work capacity, the ability to do more and more over time. So what I mean is, like, let's say today you start doing 10 pull-ups every day. You get 10 pull-ups is really easy. Well, then in a few days, you start doing 11. Then that gets easy. Then you do 12. You do that for a while, and then all of a sudden you're doing 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 pull-ups a day. And it's like it's nothing. I'm a believer in getting the body to do more skill set and work capacity training instead of just going in there, ripping the body down, destroying your central nervous system just to repair and do it again. I think when people do that over prolonged periods of time, it is not the best way to train to have an athletic physique. Not to say you can't push yourself from time to time and really test yourself, but I think most people go into the gym and instead of stimulate muscle, what they typically do is they're always trying to test themselves, and it's not really that good. Now, there is a way where I would say, hey, if you're working on one main movement, work on that movement every day. Like, let's say you wanted to just, I know young guys are like, I just want a stronger bench press. Okay, cool. Then every day, work on your back. So start doing like rear delts and rows and all, but start working on every day, working on different versions of bench presses till you get better at the movement. So much of strength with the human body is a lot neurological more than just muscular. Now, if you just want to pump up muscles and just, get into bodybuilding, I guess that's one thing. But I'm not a bodybuilder. Interestingly enough, I read an article the other day. It was through ISSA, which I'm a certified trainer through. And they were saying that last year in DC, 55 bodybuilders died. And the average life expectancy of a bodybuilder is like 46 years old. So it just goes to show you, like, a lot of bodybuilding and people doing a lot of that stuff, it looks cool. I'll be the first to say it's pretty awesome when you have like a guy like huge and large. It's like, whoa, that's incredible and that's inspirational. But guys, that is not a healthy lifestyle. I'd rather be leaner and athletic and still be able to do. My goal is when I'm like 100 years old to still be able to do push-ups and pull-ups. I'm going to be that guy that's 100 years old, still doing pull-ups, still getting in that time, maybe I'll try to do a walking sprint. I want to be an 80-year-old, still be able to sprint. You know what I'm saying? Most men in the United States after the age of 35 will never sprint again in their life. And then they'll go to the gym and they'll sit down and they'll get strong from sitting positions. Guys, getting strong from sitting positions and building a bunch of mass just to hold mass without body control is not going to help you age well. It is not going to help you age well. If you're in your 20s, you probably don't understand this yet, but when you get older, you losing your ability to move and be mobile and control your body weight and your grip strength. You can't use those. You lose those, you lose a lot. Okie dokie. So, now that we got done with that rant, Verizon Wireless is on a nationwide outage. Yeah, man. Now, motion is lotion, 100%. Now, look, I like the dedication of bodybuilding as far as like the eating and understanding the food, but just building muscle, just to build muscle, all show and no go, that's not really going to work for me. Because I know right now I can do about 30 pull-ups in a set, pretty good for 6'4" long arms. I do reps of 25 and 45 pounds strapped to me for 8 to 10 pretty easily. And I know having that ability to torque my body, control my body, create full body tension, that's always worked well for me. And when I do wrestling or I play around with my friends, I'm typically stronger than them just because they're really strong in certain positions. But when I used to wrestle, you know, I had never wrestled before in my life. And then my friend in the Navy in Yokosuka, Japan, his name was David Medell. And he took me into the wrestling room, and I was naturally like really strong just because of the way I had moved my body. And it appeared to me, and the concept popped in my brain. It was like, whoa, if you are strong in certain movements, but you can't move your body, as soon as you get out of that movement, like there's vertical push, vertical pull, horizontal push, horizontal pull, carry, squat, hip hinge, right? And rotational. I've always had rotational strength and be able to turn. The ability to turn and move and not get tired, that is where it's at. Keeping your spine strong, mobility, motion is lotion. Those are the things that are going to make your physique, you know, stand out. And then when you want to look a certain way, that comes to nutrition. That's your snacks. That's not smoking, not drinking, you know, not releasing too much energy for you guys that are looking at porn all the time. You're just killing your energy doing that, guys. Don't do that bull crap. And then before you train, who wants to guess what my pre-workout is? Anybody in the chat want to guess what my pre-workout is? You know what it is? Dried fruit, dates. Sometimes I'll eat some of these chili tamarind bites. By the way, you guys, I eat tamarind bites. I think I'm saying it right. The tamarind actually frees up testosterone in men. Your free range testosterone, if you look at the research, tamarind has been shown to free up your free testosterone so it can actually be absorbed. Yep, dried mango. Linda, exactly. Apricots. Now, I will say this, I'm not a big fan of a lot of processed sugar, but if you're gonna eat sugar, make sure you do it before and after you train. Because that is when your body can take that glucose and use it. You know what I mean? So I eat a lot of dried fruit, nuts and seeds. I don't do a lot of starch. You're welcome. Hey, what's up, Alan? What are you doing? Man, these little tamarind bites are good. 1 ounce is 28 grams. But because I'm about to go do some push-ups and pull-ups out in the garage, and this is the best time beforehand, that's when I'm gonna eat my sugar. But if you're not doing physical activity, I wouldn't eat sugar and salt. Well, salt, yes, but not too much sugar. And instead, I would eat something like this. Like grass-fed beef patties. We're gonna eat a couple of those after we trim. Thanks for coming in, Linda. I appreciate you. Also, if you want a really good physique, as far as a strength exercise, overhead press. Overhead press far superior for a good looking physique, because if you want that really good physique and you don't want to build your traps too large. For me, I could have larger traps pretty easily, but I have found that I was trying to become a fitness model at one point, and I was trying to get really lean. And one of the things I noticed is when you do poses, if your traps are too big,
it spoils the width of your shoulder. So a lot of the posing that you do when you're trying to do like fitness modeling and stuff, you don't want traps too big. You want really wide shoulders, thick chest, and obviously thick back, because they do a lot of, they used to try to do pictures of me from my back. So back in the day when I thought I could maybe be a fitness model because of my shoulders, you really want to make sure that you have that taper in the back. And the back is where so much of the muscle is. But if you're just training to just be big and strong, that's different than training to stay lean and athletic, right? Not to say you can't do both. You can do both. You can be big, strong, and lean, but it's really hard to do it if you don't have at least a little bit of genetics and a little bit of discipline and understanding how you train. Welcome back in, Platypus. All right, guys, well, that's 46 minutes. It has been a minute. And on that note, this is when I am gonna go do a workout. So we're gonna go train in there real quick. I'm gonna go knock out some body weight stuff. You guys stay good, and I'll see you next time. Peace.